Okay, so continue with the conversation. Yes, I went to Mexico to get my health care. I videotaped the doctor. They had no objections to that, contrary to what I've gotten here. Oh, well, you can't videotape. You can't videotape the receipt of your own health care. And when I point out, programmatic access and the settlement agreement and everything else, and the fact that, I'm the one who's been labeled this, you know, none of this seemed to matter. As a matter of fact, on 11/27/12, there's 6 videos on YouTube where I went to the sheriff's office with the mayor of disabilities office and their quote unquote ADA person who, pretty much couldn't explain to me things correctly. When I questioned her, it was like the demigod, that only they could be right. And, I told them I was going to continue to look for health care and get a doctor to see me here through the Department of Public Health and to record. And they pretty much laughed at me. Asked me if they lifted a finger to help me get that. The answer would be no, because the videos are obvious that it's been me who's been continuing. Oh, and by the way, it wasn't illegal for me to do because we're doing it. Now, had they done the right thing years ago, it wouldn't be as harmful as it is now. This is just nothing more than a continuation. So the doctor, to be honest with you, told me in Mexico about all these things and prescribed the antibiotics. And like I said, I was able to videotape. I received humanity, I received compassion, and I had a real doctor, a person who was concerned about my health care, as opposed to all the BS I've received here at the Department of Public Health. And, the prior abandonment, my doctor who abandoned me has never explained to me why he abandoned me. My prior doctor, Mitchell Katz, the director of public health.
Mm-hmm. How did you come to be seeing Dr. Katz?
Well, that's an interesting question. When Proposition 205 or 206 passed for medical marijuana, I went to the Board of Supervisors, and I have that paperwork asking for their help in getting me a doctor so that I could get a medical marijuana, because I realized that it helped my depression and my anxiety. Mm-hmm. Mitchell Katz took me on as a patient, and I think I was prescribed the very first prescription, medical marijuana prescription. And I still have that. So that, and I was his patient for 3 years, and we never had any problems until I went to emergency in the hospital, broke the law, and I informed him of it. And in my opinion, and I could be totally wrong, but I believed he was pushed into a corner not only to abandon me, but to discontinue my medication so that I wouldn't have the wherewithal to continue my federal lawsuit. Which, of course, I'm not trying to be accusatory, that's just my opinion, I could be totally wrong. But until somebody explains to me why, what it is that I did, considering we had a 3-year relationship, no problems, it was a mutual admiration club. I love my doctor, the director of public health. I love the fact that we could speak about anything. I love the fact that I trusted him completely and wholeheartedly. Betrayed? Yes. I'm still civil enough to await an explanation. My feelings are harmed, but instead of getting an explanation, I have a signed settlement agreement that nobody's explained to me, period, whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So remember, I'm the one with the adjustment disorder.
All right. So after you got your treatment in Mexico, mm-hmm. How long did you it sounds like your situation improved.
For a while, correct. And it's just starting to come back. And I think that part of the reason it's coming back is because of, bad diet, stress. I barely get by. I have no help. I get no assistance whatsoever. I'm disabled. It's incredible. It's just incredible, and I wasn't even getting my own health care being deadly ill. How would you feel as a person at that point?
No, that's one of the largest stresses anybody could experience. Terrible feeling.
Do you think it's any worse than being dead right, for example, with this signed confession and the years that it's taken? Do you understand the nature of my disability? I'm like a Vietnam vet who's come back and seen the truth, seen through all the bullshit that was preached by this country and by this profession, only to realize that it is bullshit. That when the rubber hits the mat, that's not what happens. There was no reason for me to be abandoned. There was no reason for them to get up and testify in court to have my case dismissed if they were going to sign a confession admitting that they broke the law 4 years later. There was no reason that the Department of Public Health has never come back to explain it to me, nor the city attorney, and me being left without a doctor. You know, it's not like I was referred to another doctor. It's not like anybody said, well, here's your prescription so you can continue. You know, we're just going to make it even that much harder for you, a disabled person who cannot adjust to disorder. Here's another 2 mountains of disorder for you to have to adjust to. Amazing, isn't it?
Well, I'm concerned because obviously you do need to get your health care.
I've needed it for years, and I appreciate your concern, and this is not directed at you. I want you to not only give me my health care, I want you to question why I've not received it from you. There's 2 your higher-ups. Because as a man to man, as a human being to another human being, as a doctor who took an oath to do no harm and to keep people from injustice, I'm pointing out an injustice.
I hear that.
Thank you.
But I'm also going to honestly say, I'm going to focus on your health care.
I expected that.
Because I think that's where my capacity is.
I'd have to say that I agree with you as far as your capacity, but that's limiting your capacity. As a doctor, I feel that you should look out after my health care, but I also feel you should honor the Hippocratic Oath, which is to do no harm and to keep others from injustice. And it's obvious the injustice that's happening around here, the rigged methodology, and for you to kind of skirt that really doesn't give me a lot of faith in you. But that's my opinion.
I hear that.
Hearing and acting and hearing and doing the right thing are totally different things. So, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. Remember, I have an adjustment disorder. It's not me who has the disorder here. It's not me who is the failure here. You know, unless, of course, you know, I've been the failure in trying to get you guys to be accountable up until this date. Because apparently, my continuing to try to get you guys to be accountable, nobody's been accountable. So maybe I'm a failure in that area because maybe seeking accountability in a rigged system is a failing proposition. But if it's that way and it's rigged, then once again it proves I'm not the failure. You know, there's such a thing in computer programming, read, write, and verify to see if a program works correctly. And apparently there's no verification in any of these programs that they work correctly. It's not my problem.
All right. Can I go through a little bit of the basic background information on you? How old are you?
Okay, I just want to turn this off for a second.